Hey there, friends. Welcome back to Second Star to the Left. I'm Michelle, and this is my daughter, Billy.
Hi.
And here's where we share board game reviews, ramblings, and a few wrong turns along the scenic route. Speaking of those wrong turns and maybe corrections, or maybe not, I was just having a look at our 20 through 1 and thinking that maybe they're not in the right order. But then I had another look and I don't know how I would change it to make it better. All this to say that this video of our top 50 games is our 20 through 11, and they're all just really good games that we could move around in this list for days and days and never come up with a perfect solution. So
For most of them, at least.
For most of them. And
I would say the top 3 or 4 are probably pretty.
So if you think one should be a little higher than the other, probably we do 2 on Wednesday and then maybe not on Saturday. So we're just going to go with this list. I'm not changing anything. Somebody changed some stuff while we were sitting there.
You have already changed a lot.
Not at the top.
Show the people how much pen
not
marks.
Not at the top, at the bottom.
Yeah.
I'm not showing them my pen marks. Okay. All right.
I may have swapped numbers 2 and 3.
You won't find that out this time, though.
No, you won't.
You won't find that out.
And I won't tell you about it next time.
You won't find that out until Tuesday. Okay.
Don't tell them it'll come out on Tuesday.
It will come out on Tuesday.
What if we mess up? What if things go wrong along the way?
They don't know which Tuesday.
That's true. That's true.
Okay, I went first last time, so it's all you this time. What is your number 20?
My number 20 is, I believe, and I could be wrong, the only Oink game to break my top 50.
I know what it is.
I'm sure from that you can guess what it is. It's Fake Artist in New York.
It is Fake Artist. It's Fake Artist Goes to New York.
The thing you gave me says Fake Artist in New York. Right, so that's what I'm going to read.
I don't know. I'll look it up. I'll put it down
here.
The
list you gave me to sort.
Once again, the list I gave you to sort is
incomplete,
close.
Incorrect.
Okay, so why did this hit your top 20? That's pretty high.
Because of how much fun we've had playing it, together with family and friends, and just as a party game and great vacation game. It's easy to travel. It's very portable.
Yeah. Well, it's an Oink game, so it comes in a box that's this big. Most Oink games come in a box that's this big. And I think it is. I mean, we could easily play this game without bringing this game. We could just do it. That's the truth of it. But it's nice to have all the pieces in one place. It's nice to not have to be running around trying to find enough pens or paper or whatever it is. It's nice to have it all in one box. This is a game where you are trying to figure out which one around the table is the fake artist. And the way that works is someone picks a clue and writes it down. And everyone but one person gets that clue, and the one person just gets an X on their tile. So everybody finds out what that clue is except for one person. Those tiles are shuffled in the middle, so even the person who made up the clue doesn't know who the fake artist is. And it's your job to draw a picture just well enough that those who know the clue believe that you know it, but not so good that the fake artist can guess it. Since none of us are really good at drawing these things, we often get accused of being the fake artist, even when we're not. And we do have an actual artist in the family, an actual sells paintings at a gallery artist. It does not help them.
And the way he plays is often completely unhinged and detached from any and all. He doesn't want you to know if he knows or not.
He just draws a line up in the corner. I didn't want him to think I was the... Yeah. There have been a couple of people who I've explained this game to who couldn't quite figure out that balance between drawing just well enough that if you know, and, trying to fake it if you're the fake artist, and just drawing random nonsense. But most of the time, if you play around, people get it, and everybody has a great time. And the pictures, we save them all so that we have a little gallery of really terrible drawings. But yeah, that's a great party game.
It's very good.
I'm not sure why it's not up here.
Because you're bad at lists.
I am bad at lists. Okay, well, my number 20 is one that I'm a little surprised I didn't put higher, because we even played it today.
We did. That's your 20?
Yeah.
The heck?
And that would be unmatched. Don't.
You're 20?
Yeah, there's a lot of really good games.
No, pause the video. Fix that.
I'm not.
Fix
This
it.
is my
No,
list.
move it. Move it up right now.
No, it's my number 20.
No.
Like I said, there are so many good games on this list. We love
What does it matter with you?
we obviously love Unmatched. We have just
20?
about we have everything but Bruce Lee. We have the big giant battle boxes with cubes for each character so that we can pull them out and battle them. We have a tournament that we started and
that was
filmed
like a year and a half ago.
We filmed all of it except the last match, and that'll come soon. We'll film that last match. I think what happened though is we started that tournament, and then like 3 new sets came out, and then the tournament felt like it wasn't
Because we kept wanting to play the new sets and not go back to the tournament matchups.
but we do have a lot. I don't know what my favorite is. I do know what my favorite is. My favorite character is Deadpool. There's no.
Oh yeah, because the
Because
couple
they're
of
funny.
cards
Those
just make
cards
you
are
crack up every
fun.
time.
Yeah. But I love Buffy.
I think I love the Raptors most.
I love Buffy, and I know not many people do, but
My favorite set as a whole is the Buffy set, for sure.
yeah, I know a lot of people don't like that one, but
Ow.
I don't know. But for me, I loved the show, and then to get to play as the characters is a lot of fun. Anyway, that's a really long description of why we like it. It's a game where you're battling on a board based on what's in your hand. So it's kind of like just a card battle, but you have figures to move around. And obviously it has so many characters. There's dozens of sets. There's Marvel sets and Jurassic Park sets.
What other game lets you have Shakespeare fight a T-Rex?
That is true. We can have Shakespeare fight a T-Rex.
Or Bigfoot versus...
Little Red Riding Hood.
Or Sherlock Holmes against Dracula. Actually, that one's probably
good.
That one sounds like it's been a thing.
Squirrel Girl.
Oh yeah.
Right, against Hamlet. So it's just really fun. We have a great time. And while it's not really a low spoons game, it is one that we have played so many times that for us
it's become one for us just because we're so used to it.
Yeah, it's a bit of comfort food for us. So that's my number 20 no matter what Billy says. All right, what's your number 19?
You'll hear more about that on Tuesday in the next video. Where it should have been for both of us.
What's your number 19? Stop glaring at me.
My number 19 is Avalon, which we have not played in a very long time, but I have such fond memories of, and I would love to, but you need a certain amount of people for that, and we usually don't have that many.
Yeah, and Avalon, we got the new set with all the beautiful art, like we upgraded to the new set. It's a, social deduction game, and we love those, but you need a lot of people to make it work well. You can't play it. There is a 2-person deduction game, but this is not it. But yeah, you need a lot of people to make it work, and we don't often have a lot of people. And when we do, some of the people that we game with more frequently don't like social deduction games. They don't like any games where you lie. So if you don't like lying, this is probably not a good game for you. Avalon is a different theme from the game Resistance. And basically it's just set in King Arthur's kingdom. And you have all these roles that you can play to see if you can find out who the traitor is.
I love this kind of game because I am scary good at lying.
Yeah, that is not something that we should... That is something you learn about your family is, oh no, they're really good liars.
Oh no, I could get away with murder.
But anyway, yeah, Avalon is great, and hopefully we will have a group around to play it more. Maybe we'll bring it to PAX Unplugged.
Maybe, yeah, that could be fun.
Maybe we'll bring it to PAX Unplugged. Hasn't been played in a while, so give it a go.
Maybe.
My number 19 is newer, but not new, and you're going to yell at me again? I don't want to get yelled at. But my number 19 is Guild of Merchant Explorers. You okay with that one?
No.
Guild of Merchant Explorers is the game where you travel by map.
Not as bad as Unmatched, but still pretty bad.
This game was a huge surprise. It's kind of beige. I mean,
but it's a very pretty beige.
It is. Once you realize the game is kind of old maps and going across the sea, it makes more sense. The colors and everything make more sense. And it isn't ugly beige. It's not awful, but it is a little beige. And so when we first saw it, I wasn't sure what to think of it. I thought maybe it was like area control, and that's not one of my favorite genres.
Didn't you play it incredibly wrong at the convention when you first tried it?
Well, I wasn't taught it wrong, but yes, I played it wrong. So
taught wrong.
In Guild of Merchant Explorers, you're kind of placing out pieces to mark your path so that you can build another outpost. I didn't know that all the pieces that mark your path would come off the board between rounds and
Only
just the outposts would
stay.
stay. So everybody else's first round was much more productive than mine.
Everyone else went and built outposts. You just got a lot of little trail pieces.
You build an outpost, then you can start exploring from that outpost, which is how you get across the map. It's a really fun game about finding treasure and, building outposts and trade. There are 4 or 5 different maps in it. There's all kinds of variations. And everyone has some individual powers, and then you have shared powers at the top. It's a great game.
Good job. You ran out of words.
Yeah. It's a great game, and if you get a chance to try it, I would not let the beige keep you from trying it, because it's really good. All right, what is your...
Is that something people worry about?
Sometimes...
Games being too beige?
No, but sometimes if the cover's not, like...
I don't know. I think it's very pretty.
Don't.
Look, it's like a nice blue with the pink jellyfish and the...
I like it. Like, I like the game. But I just didn't know what it was when I was looking at the box.
Calling it beige an awful lot.
Okay. What is your number 18?
My own number 18 is probably the biggest surprise to me in this list.
Because it's too high or too low?
Because it's much higher than I thought it would be, because it's a very new acquisition. It is Hey, That's My Fish. It's a very simple game, very quick, easy, but it is really fun, and it's... I don't know, I just, whenever we were pub meepling this, I found myself, I kept picking it. I would be like, yeah, I'd rather play that.
Right. I mean, that is the challenge of pub meeple, is you're comparing apples and oranges, right? Because you're comparing Guild of Merchant Explorers and Hey, That's My Fish. And the answer isn't necessarily what's the better game. The answer is which one would you rather play on a perfect day? And Hey, That's My Fish is just fun. And I know that it's a little penguin game for kids, but when we play it, that is some cutthroat penguining.
Oh, yeah.
And we got the deluxe version.
It's so nice.
Of all the games that we could upgrade. We chose to upgrade Hey, That's My Fish. But yeah, you're just trying to keep your penguins on the ice flow and gather up the most fish. And as the ice flow is disappearing around you, and you're making it disappear around your opponents. Yeah, I like
cutting you off so you're stuck on an island. I could just make you float out to sea, like...
Poor lonely penguins. Yeah, they just float on out to sea.
Yeah.
Okay, my number 18, like I said, all of these, I feel like they should be higher, and then I look at the higher ones and think, well, they shouldn't be lower. So my number 18 is Baron Park, which is one of the early polyomino games that we played. And it is one of the most straightforward polyomino games that we play.
It has pandas in it, which are definitely bears. They're definitely a kind of bear.
Okay. Does it have koalas? Maybe that's what's not a bear.
Some middle schoolers might tell you pandas are actually a kind of raccoons. Don't listen to them.
Honestly, it's just who can fill their park first. I think that we appreciate it for how simple it is. We don't have the expansion. I never felt a need for it.
There's
because
an expansion?
Yeah.
What's it got?
It's got like a little sky car kind of thing, I think, that goes across.
Oh yeah, I have seen that. Yeah.
The reason that I love it is because it's simple and it's straightforward, and so I don't want to add other complications in. I just like it the way it is. What is your number 17?
My number 17 is a game that's probably higher on your list.
Yes.
And that is Broom Service. I swear if that's not even on your top 20.
I don't think it hit my top 50.
Oh my god.
I love that game, but there's so
many
good games.
Do you? You hunted it through several, oh my goodness.
I did. The reason that we have Broom Service is because for 3 years, everywhere I went, every game store, every convention, everywhere, I was like, do you have Broom Service? Can we have Broom Service? And finally we found it on the bottom shelf of a booth at a convention, and we got it. And it's a pick up and delivery game.
But it's so cute. It's little witches.
It is. It's little witches. And you have cards, so you're managing your hand, and you're trying to decide what the other player is going to play, because you can kind of overpower them, because they can put down that they're a forest witch or something, and you can just put down that you are a brave forest witch, and then you will take over what they were trying to deliver. It's a really, really cute game, and that map, it looks dated now when you look at it. You can tell that it's an older game, but when we first saw it, I hadn't seen maps that had that bright, colorful, really detailed art. So We chased it down, and it has witch meeples.
Yay.
Witch meeples.
Whipples? Weeples?
No.
No? We're not gonna? Okay, you should cut that.
Okay. I'm not gonna.
No?
My number 17 is a new version of a game that we don't own and I stubbornly wouldn't buy. Do you know what that is?
I don't know. You're stubborn about a lot of things.
It's Wormspan. It's Wormspan. And while I have played Wingspan, and I know people that own it, so we can play it whenever we want, it was never a favorite. And I don't know, I dug in my heels in the everybody else likes it, but I'm not gonna fashion. And then Wormspan came out, and it was dragons. Mm-hmm. And I love the changes that they made. I love that you go in and you excavate the cave. I love the way that you get resources instead of it being just that die roll where you just get stuff you don't need. I like everything about this, including the art, which is wonderful. So Wormspan, which is new and made it all the way up to number 17. What is your 16?
My number 16, I'm afraid to try and say.
Why? Is it hard to pronounce?
A little.
Or is it in another language?
It might be.
Could you just say it in English?
Could you?
Yeah, it's just Paris, isn't it?
Yeah. But there's more.
It's Paris, la cité de lumière. It's
There you
Paris,
go.
the city of lights.
Yes.
Ignore my French. It is what it is.
I'm supposed to say pardon my French.
Pardon my French. Paris is another of our polyomino games.
It's just the vibes are, it's like a nice rainy night and the putting out like the street lights and the cobblestone, and it's very good.
I like that you play it right in the box.
I like that it has 2 levels. You're laying out the street and then putting the buildings on it, and it's...
I do like double-layered polyomino games, and you might hear about that.
Is this game higher on your list?
I'm not going to tell you my list.
Is it also missing from your list?
No, it's not missing from my list.
Okay, good.
It's just a beautiful game, and it adds a little bit of extra thought and crunch to a polyomino game because you're building out both layers and then trying to meet goals as well. So you have to make sure that when you put down your little street that it's lit, because otherwise you don't score any points for it. So there's just a lot of layers to this one. It's a little bit crunchier as far as polyominoes go, and it can be mean because you can take things away from people. My number 16 is Cartographers.
Ooh.
Which is one of our earlier flip and right, roll and right ones, and you're just making a map. Wasn't Cartographers down on your list a little bit?
I believe it was. I think we talked about it recently.
Yeah, by the way, if you haven't watched the other 3 videos that came before this on our top 50 list, go ahead and check them out.
Last video, actually. I had it as my 34.
Yep. Cartographers is a flip and right where you're drawing polyomino shapes to score across 4 objectives over seasons. It's a lot of fun. It's some fun coloring. There's more interaction in this flip and right than in others. Most of them just don't have a lot, and this one's not terribly interactive, but you do pass your board to the person next to you to add goblins on it when the goblins come up. So you do have the ability to interact a little bit, and it's just a fun little making a map flip and right. All right, what's your 15?
My number 15 is one that I don't think we have to talk about too much now because I feel like we're going to talk about it a lot later.
This is going to happen on these lists.
It is Fit to Print. My number 15 is Fit to Print.
15, you say?
I do say.
We'll talk about it a smidge. It's not going to happen in this video.
Oh, it's going to be next video.
It's going to happen on Tuesday. Spoilers. Fit to Print is one of the only real-time games that Billy will play.
It is.
And you are little woodland critters running a newspaper and doing the best you can to fill out the newspaper with the right balance of happy stories and sad stories and art and advertisement. And it is a very interesting spatial puzzle where you have to put all the shapes that you want to use onto a desk. They give you a little desk to put them on. And then you can't draw anymore and you have to put them in your paper, which means you had to try and figure out what that was going to look like before you started putting them in, which for some people is challenging. We will probably talk a little bit more about this one, but Fit to Print it's fun enough that Billy will play it real time. My number 15 is a cozy game of cats and quilts, and that's Calico. I love this game. I play it solo. I've played it with my mom. I play it with Billy. I play it with anyone who wants to sit down and play it with me. I think there are a lot of people who think this game is very stressful. I think I don't because I don't take it that seriously.
Yeah.
It was probably one of the first of our like give up your dreams games that we defined that way, because you have objectives that you're trying to meet by building patterns and putting buttons on, and you're trying to build patterns of either shapes or the pattern on the quilt piece. And at some point you have to decide that you are probably not going to meet all of those requirements, because you have to pick up a tile and put down a tile every single turn. So you can't just not take a tile. It's colorful and it's bright and it scratches all the right places in my brain for a puzzly game. It's at 15. I thought it might be a little bit higher. I did, but 15, given what's above it, seems about right. What is your 14?
My number 14 is Campy Creatures.
Aww.
Which I adore the theme of, it's all these like fun little B-movie monsters. And
it's not quite a trick-taking game.
No, it's not. It's something else, isn't it?
Yeah.
What would you call it?
It's set collection, but you're kind of battling for those sets. Well, you're kind of bidding. You each have
Not exactly.
I mean, you each have a hand of what is 0 to 9.
You have
I think
the same cards.
Yeah, you have the same.
You have most of the same cards.
You have the same cards, so when you're trying to win something, if you're keeping track, you know which cards your opponent played already. So you know whether to play to go towards the higher end of your deck, or if it's not necessary when you're trying to win not quite a trick. The art is fantastic.
It really is.
And it's just fun. And you can mix and match some of the pieces in and out, so you don't have to play with the same characters, the same numbers every time. Yeah, Campy Creatures is
really good.
We should play some more of that.
We should.
We do pull it out during spooky season, but it is one that we keep out all year long. My number 14 is one that I think we've talked about already, and that is Railroad Inc.
Yes, that was my number 40.
Railroad Inc., the game of drawing roads and rails, and it is that and Welcome to were the first and rights that we had, rolling rights and flipping rights. And I still play this all the time. I play it on BGA all the time. I have the app on my phone. We have all of the expansions crammed into one little box. And there's something very fun about the puzzle of building this little system of railways and roads and just trying to figure out how it all fits together. I should never be in charge of anyone's transportation systems, just to be clear. But this is one of my favorites, and it's a go-to when I'm stuck in an airport, when I'm in a meeting that I'm not paying attention to. And anytime I get a chance, I'm going to play this one. And it works very well digitally as well as in person.
My number 13 is another new one, but not really a surprise for me, because I feel like as soon as we played it, I kind of just knew it would be a classic. And that is Thunder Road Vendetta.
I think we talked about this in one of the earlier videos too, but Thunder Road Vendetta is a theme that should not appeal to us typically. I'm not saying that we don't like that kind of thing, but it wouldn't have been the kind of game that I sought out until I did.
Just a lot of people that we trusted really seemed to like it. So,
and I think that the idea that it's not just a race, but also,
battle to the death.
I love the chaos of it. I love the way the map kind of rolls, even though it doesn't, because you're adding a piece on until you get to the end condition.
The looping map is fun.
Yeah.
It keeps going much longer than there's actually room for on a table.
I love that your car takes damage, but could be repaired until it gets too bad. I love the way the dice placement determines where you're going and how you're moving. It's just a really fun game. My number 13 is another transportation game.
Huh?
And that is Village Rails.
A game of locomotives and locomotives.
You will notice as we move up that there's a definite theme to what I like, and I tend to
trains.
No, but it's those
all trains from here on out.
That's it. The next 12 just trains. It's puzzly games, right? Where you're trying to just put together either a grid of things or, a system of rails and roads or a quilt in a way that scores you the most points. And Village Rails is just this tiny little box with a great big game in it where you're building out 8 different railways from 8 different spots on the board. You can purchase different objectives to put on the sides. It's a tight little game. You get 16 turns and that's it. So you had better choose what you want, because 16 little spaces to put those rails in is not a lot of time, especially if you get one that you don't really know what to do with. But yeah, I love Village Rails. And again, any of those puzzly little games are going to be way up here on the list.
My number 12 is something I'm a little surprised to see this low. Yeah, I know. It is Botnik. Uh-huh.
Billy.
Yeah.
You put Botnik at 12?
Okay, 12 out of, like, what, 300 something?
I know, at 12?
Yeah, I mean, I love Botnik with all my heart, but I don't think there's any above it that I would move down below it.
Well, that's the problem that I'm having here, too. So, Botnik, which we will probably hear more about later...
Oh, yeah?
...is a game that Billy and I championed since we pretty much started this channel. Mm-hmm. It was one of the first videos that we made. It was really early on that we did Botnik.
The second video. The first was New York Zoo.
Yes. It might have been the second. It was early on in the... just figuring out what we were doing stages of the channel.
I don't think we were even figuring it out yet. We just straight up didn't know.
We didn't know. But we knew we loved the game. It is still a game that we go to all the time. It's on Board Game Arena now, so if anybody wants to play Botnik with us, just throw out a link. Probably not Billy. She never takes turns on Board Game Arena.
Yeah,
so,
asynchronous games just don't gel well with my brain.
But you can send me an invite and I will definitely play Botnik. It's a 2-player game where you are botanists that are building out...
Pipes full of flowers.
You're a botanist... Pipes full of flowers.
Oh,
You're a botanist building out, a pipe system to grow flowers and vegetables. There are vegetables. The placement rules make it so that every choice is really a tough decision. You have a main board in the middle, the register, where you put your pieces first and they have to match something that's there. And in order to release them, you put a piece that doesn't match and it releases your piece off that main board so you could put it in your system.
That's not going to make any sense without pictures.
I'll put pictures.
Okay.
But you can also put a tile down that will release a piece to your opponent, and it might be a piece they don't want.
But they have to use it.
They have to use it. And you only score for connected pipes, and you score for flowers on the pipes and the length of the connection. It's a great game. It is. You'll hear more about it later. Number 12 is also a new game this year. I mean, it's probably not a new game. It's new to us this year. And that's Nana.
Oh, I love Nana.
Nana is, not to repeat this, but Nana is pretty much gamer go fish.
It's so cute.
Everyone I have showed this game to has liked it. And almost everyone has tried to find a copy. It's very hard to find the copy that we have. You can find Trio here in the United States, which is
the same mechanically, and
pretty
it's still
much
very
the
good.
Same game, but
it's less cute animals.
It's a different theme. Nana is adorable, and you're really it's a combination of Go Fish and memory. You put your hand of cards in order by number, and then you can only ask people for their highest or lowest cards, which sometimes makes it tricky to get your sets in front of you because you can't ask for the cards you want to. And you have to remember who around the table might have the card. And just to complicate things a little bit more, there's a number of face-down cards in the middle for you to choose from as well, and you have to remember what those are. It's just a lot of fun. It proves that we all have the memory and the attention span of a goldfish. And like I said, I have not brought this out and had people not like it. And it's in a tiny little box too, so it's an easy game to travel with. It's an easy game to share. It's an easy game to teach, and it's just a lot of fun. Your number 11 and the last one for this list.
My number 11, the ultimate item on the penultimate list, is Tiny Towns.
Aw.
I love Tiny Towns.
Tiny Towns. I had Tiny Towns on my list last video, and I put up a picture of the stickered houses, and everybody was like, where did the stickers come from? We love Tiny Towns enough that I spend hours putting little tiny stickers on my houses and cottages and the wells and everything so that it looked bright and colorful and cheery. You can get those stickers on Etsy. There are a number of shops, so I'm not going to link to anybody, but if you just search for them, you can find them. And Tiny Towns is a game of managing resources, and it's kind of polyomino. You're putting a polyomino shape with those cubes
but then you
onto
take
your board,
most
but then
of
you
them off
take
and
them off.
You leave one of them on, and it's where the building
and you
is
kind of
complete.
exchange that set of cubes for a farm or a cottage or a factory. It's a great game. It's a nice little puzzle, and we now have 3 expansions for it. And while we're not putting the expansions on the list, they are fun.
They are.
So my number 11 is one that was lower on yours, And it is the spooky game that stays out all year.
Oh, yay.
And that is Castle Party. And again, it's a little puzzle, and it's a polyomino game, and it's a flip and write, so why wouldn't it be up on my list? And it's adorable, spooky art.
It's so good.
You're just taking some vampires, witches, and ghosts to a party at a castle and trying to make sure they all fit in.
And they all have a good time.
And they all get a chance to look out the window at the fireworks. They all get to do a conga line.
Yeah.
They all get to see the king. It's just a really, really fun game. And it's one of the more interactive flip and writes that we have because you're determining the direction that your opponent has to put that shape on their board.
You can make it harder for yourself just to make their life worse. And
you get a sense of how Billy plays these games. She takes a game with cute little pictures, unicorns even, and just turns it into,
Sure.
a battle.
Like you've never.
No.
You're a perfect angel.
Next video is our top 10 of all time, for now, as we see it.
Kind of.
It is also going to be the video that lands on our 3-year anniversary of the channel, so
Yay.
that'll be fun.
Happy birthday, us.
A couple of things. If you want to hop into the Discord and chat, you can share your top 50. You can guess what our top 10 might be. And you can throw some questions in there for a Q&A that we're going to do next video. So jump in there, join us, talk about all this stuff. It's a lot of fun. We also have a Patreon if anybody feels like supporting us.
If you got too much money and you don't know what to do with it,
and if that's
take it off your hands.
And if that's not for you, that's fine too. Just watching the videos and chatting with us in the comments helps a ton. So
the nice comments that people leave make my day every single time. It's just really heartwarming.
I know I respond to every comment, and I will say that every time someone says something incredibly kind, it is absolutely heartfelt when I say that you made my day or my night, and I will stop whatever we're watching or doing
you will
and share it with Billy.
Everyone in the house.
I do. I run around and show everybody.
It's so good.
It's just been so nice to be able to build a community and kind of meet everybody that's watching. It's been great. If you actually want to meet us, I will be at PAX Unplugged in December, and I will probably be spending a great deal of time at the Button Shy booth, so I will let everybody know. But in the meantime, thank you for watching.
Thank you.
If you like what you see,
or if you'd like to keep watching until we get one right,
then please like, subscribe, and share. As always, open tables, open minds, and play your shelves.
Bye.
You do this?
Does good. You're doing well.
Sometimes I do good. You don't know.
I thought you went first. I thought I went first.
No, it was me, then you. So 50, 40, 30, 20. It's you. They aren't bears, right?
No, they're not bears. They're like raccoons or something. I'm like 80% sure.
Anyway, you're just getting different kinds of bears, and you're filling up a
like
bear
koalas,
park.
who also aren't bears.
And apparently learning about species of bears.
If we're very wrong, I'm going to look so dumb.
I just need
you gotta Google it now.
Pandas are bears.
Are pandas bears?
That would be super bad, right?
In like middle school, I was told they're more like raccoons, and that's just stuck in my brain since then.
They're bears.